Verna, thank you so much for joining me here today. We're doing a recording for the Successful Women podcast show, but we're also going live on LinkedIn because I just think it's a great opportunity to share with people. They can see us and hear us have our chat. And you're here. I've known you quite some time, but my show is particularly about inspirational women who've overcome challenges. And if I were to think of women that I know well who've overcome challenges in an amazing way, then you are top of my list. So thanks for coming along today. It's lovely to see you. I would normally start these conversations in much the same way, really, because people don't want to hear me talking. Tell us about you, your journey to get where you are today.
Oh, okay. That's great. Thank you very much for having me, Jill. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. Well, first of all, I must start off that I am the original Spice Girl. My name is Verna Haywood, and I come from the land of spice and all that's nice. So, which makes me the original Spice Girl. So, growing up in the Caribbean, growing up in Grenada, it's lots of fun. We had lots of mountains and gardens and everything. So everything was in the garden, and I played and used those things. But as a young girl, I went through different types of abuse, and it's when you tell your adult, nobody believed you. And when somebody said to you, if you talk about it, I'll kill you, you're thinking, as a child, you're thinking you're petrified, you don't want to say anything. But eventually I built up the courage, and I spoke to my aunts and stuff like that. My mom left me when I was very young to pursue life elsewhere. So I didn't know my mom until I was around 14 years old. I heard of her, and she used to send me lovely stuff, but that wasn't the same. That relationship was not there. Somebody selling you nice gold jewelry and nice clothes and everything is fine. So going back is like you went through that thing, and then you're thinking nobody believe you, so you say nothing, and lots of thoughts go through your head. But I suppose the one thing that kept me sane and kept me safe was the fact that Sunday school was something that was really something that I went to, and there I learned about the Word of God and everything like that. And then growing up, when I did eventually went to live with my mom, the cycle started again, and thinking, well, what's going on here? And again, she didn't believe. You tell her and she didn't believe. And it was like, oh, I wish my son had lived and not you.
Oh.
Hello. Crazy. So anyway, I just decided, okay, this is a one-man band here. I don't have anybody on my side. So the only person I can rely on is Jehovah. And so I built myself up by using the word, just speaking the word, affirming the word. For example, if your mother and father forsake you, the Lord will take you up. So that was my anchor. Okay, if they forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. So I'll anchor myself in that. And then I would lift mine eyes onto the hills from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord. So those things were my anchor. Eventually, I told my big brother when I was about not too long ago, in 2002, what had happened to me when I was younger. And he said, why didn't you say something? Nobody believed me anyway, so why should I say anything? And he said, have you had any psychiatric or no? The word of God. And I had to be positive, and I had to make myself whole. But then I got married, and again, I entered into a relationship where my first husband was abusive. He was in the army, and it was like spit on the ground, and you had to be home at that time from work. So I thought, I've had it now. I'm not going to die in this marriage. I'm not going to end up mental. I'm not going to get any of this. So I'm just, you just have to make a way. You said that you are my way giver. You said that you would never leave me alone. You said you would never forsake me. So you have got to get me out of here. And that's when I came to England with a suitcase and 100 pounds and start my life all over.
Well, that's incredibly brave. And I guess you're going to say that it's your faith that enabled you to do that then.
Yes, my faith. We all believe in something.
Yeah.
We all have, whether it's faith or whether some people say the universe, whatever it is, we have a belief. And once your belief is strong, doesn't matter what anybody else say about it or say about you, you just have to keep the faith. Because when you keep the faith, that's going to guide you through. And it's always good to listen. Sometimes we talk, but we don't listen. There's a difference between listening and hearing. And when we listen, that's when we get the answer. If we keep talking, we don't hear the answer. So when we listen, we hear the answer, and then they speak intuitively. So intuition as well. Follow your intuition, because when you do that, you know your gut feeling.
Yeah.
Follow that, because that is your guidance. You know, we have, which we will come on to. I'm not going to talk about it now, but we have a guidance. We have somebody guiding us. We have each and every one of us that, or you might say the energy field around us. We have something around us that protecting us. And I have learned that over the years that I had a protector. Had I not had that, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't think about dying. I'm not going to tell you I didn't think about what's the point in living. I'm not going to tell you because nobody believed me anyway. Who am I? And all of these sort of things. I'm not going to tell you none of that happened. But then I always come back to, what would God think about it if I do it?
Okay.
It didn't matter what anybody else's thought. It was, what would he think if I was to do that? What would he think? And that was it.
So you got to this country with £100 in a suitcase. Then what happened?
And what happened? Well, I had family in London, but I didn't want to be in London. I'm not a city girl. I grew up in the country. And so I had friends up north. So I went up north and I stayed with them. Then I enrolled at Dewsbury College and studied travel and tourism. And started that because I love traveling. I love meeting people. So did that. And then we moved to Harrogate. And there I studied my therapy at Harrogate College. And I had a wonderful lecturer called Celia Yeadon. She said to me, there is going to be an interview coming and you need to prepare for the interview. 10 of you will be taking it. And I thought, I'm a mature student. I'm the only lady of color here. There's no way I'm going to be, there's no way it's going to happen. So, you know, we have this thing about our, and it's true, we have to work 10 times harder, because I experienced that at university where we had to work 10 times harder. Yeah. But I just came to the assumption that no way, it's not happening. So I didn't do any CV, I didn't do anything. And then I got there and she said, have you done it, Verna? And I said, no, I haven't. She said, well, you're taking the interview anyway. So we took the interview, 10 of us did. And I remember the interviewer was a lady from Holland and was interviewing for Steiner Transocean Limited to work on cruise liners.
Yeah.
And we all did it. 10 of us did it. And 2 people passed, only 2. And I thought, okay, well, I'm out of the game, really. And then she called me aside and said, say nothing, but you are one of the 2. Yeah. You sure? Yeah, I was one of the 2. And then I got to go to work for Steiner, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go straight to university and do my degree. And she said, no, you have a gift. Go and use your gift. After you use your gift, then you can go back to university. You do not want to become just an academic. Not that anything is wrong with academia, but you have a gift to go and use your gift. And that's what I did.
Wow. So now we're in a very different place. Segue me into where we are now then.
Oh, where we are now. I mean, it's such a joy to come from where I came from and where I am now. You know, after university, I did my degree in international spa management. Then I came to Portland for a job as a spa manager in 2006 after university. And then I started my own business in 2010, and circumstances with the downturn in 2008 and everything else happened. And where I was, the landlord sold it, and then I moved on, and then I moved somewhere else, and things didn't work out. So now I have created a space, a sacred space, where I can treat my my clients without rush, because I think when you do therapy, it's about the individual. I like results. I'm a results driven person. So when I do a therapy, it must not be rushed. It must take its time. And if I feel that I need to focus on one area, then I focus on that area. So I've created that space. But also, I am doing holistic balancing for women who have found themselves, went through situations like myself, but don't have the strength or the courage to take that step, to step out and think, I can do it. And they need some guidance. They need somebody to hold their hand. They need somebody to trust and to believe them. And this is what I want to bring to them, because I have spoken to some women, and in my course over my years, and even recently, I've put something up on LinkedIn, and I was asking questions, and people came back to me. Yes, I know of people who are experiencing that. Yes, I have been there, but I was strong and I was able to do it. Not every woman is strong. Not every woman can, they need someone. I mean, again, I had a conversation this week, and there was this lady who was going through something similar, but she had a child at home. And she went for assistance, but they wouldn't give her any assistance because she had enough money to find a place. But they missed the point. It's not that because she had money, she could find a place and go live and come out of the house. The point is that she did not want to be alone. She wanted to be with a group of other women who she can converse with and not be on her own. So to say because she had this amount, she didn't need that is not good enough, in my view. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. And the support of organisations and people like you is so important. You know my previous career, and I've spent a lot of time talking to women who've been through those sorts of situations, and it takes a huge amount of courage to be able to step away, and even more so if you have children, because the impact is going to be on them. And you're absolutely right. Just because you've got some money doesn't mean you can just go and live in another flat, or it's just crazy.
It's crazy. No, not cutting you. Sorry.
That's okay. So I'm interested. We've got a little ticker tape going across the bottom of the screen here, talking about a webinar that you've got coming up, talking about 3 steps to wellness, make peace with the past. Do you want to tell us a little about how that came about and what your plans are?
It came about because I wanted to give more. And throughout throughout lockdown, you heard about all these different things happening with women being in the home, abuse and everything else. And it just brings back memories of where I was. Yeah. And yes, I didn't have the support, but I had the courage and the ability to tap into my belief. And I want to give the things that I have used to help me to get where I am today. I want to use that to help other women. So the 3 steps that I have learned and I have created for myself is centered around everything that I do, which is you have to reflect. So your past, your history forms your future. Yeah. You can't you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to go to London and I'm just going to get there. No, you have a starting point. So your starting point is where you are. You look at that. And then you have your direction. So your past is your history. You take from that and let that be your guide. And so you have to reflect. Once you have reflect, you then have to revive. So that revival comes in. And once you start to that revival, then when you have gone through that, then you renew. So you start to think new things. You start working on your self-belief, you start working on your confidence, you start working on all those things. So when people say to you, you can just get there, no, you can't just get there. You have to take a journey. Life is a journey. When I was preparing for this 2 days ago, I was like, am I doing the right thing? Because I like to speak from the heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. We believe in our heart. We speak from our heart. The head is the intellect. But your heart is where everything, your sounding board is where you come from. That's where your belief come from, basically. So for me, I want to be able to teach women and help them use those things, they will find their own way, but they just need somebody's help to guide them through that. And that's what I want to do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Verna, you really are a huge inspiration. And as I've just said, you know, I've worked with a lot of women who've been through the most difficult challenges, as you've talked about, abuse of different sort. And you are always so positive and motivating. It's just fabulous. So I'm going to ask you what I always ask on my show, which is, have you ever suffered from the imposter syndrome? And if you have, how do you manage that?
Oh yeah, I do. I do suffer from the imposter syndrome. If I think I have to go online or do something, I think, oh gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I think it's because of my knowledge. You have the knowledge, but then you get there. I know sometimes when I come to the SWIB group and you ask to say something about yourself, I'm like teeny weeny Verna, the Verna that don't want to say anything or be too buoyant. And that's not me. So I will just be quiet. And now I'm learning. No, because then if I don't be me, or if I don't be authentic, then nobody can connect to me and connect to what I want to bring to them. And so I'm learning to just be me, just be authentic, and just take the plunge. Like somebody said, well, why don't you go on LinkedIn and talk about what you do? And I'm thinking, oh, how you know, you always oohing and eyeing, and all you need to do is just take the plunge. If I can leave millions of miles and come to this country, wouldn't it be?
Absolutely. That's brilliant. So have you got any particular tips for anybody that's listening or watching?
Yeah. My tips would be authentic. Don't try to be anyone else. You've got to be you. It doesn't matter who like you, who don't like you. You're going to connect to the right people. So just be you. Be self-assured. Be self-assured, because when you are self-assured, you can move mountains. When you're not self-assured, you could be like me, teeny weeny, and you're just crouching down. But you know, status, just lift your head up and just go forth. And if you fall down, get back up again. Because that's you. If you think about a baby, a child is learning to walk, it doesn't just start walking. It stands up, it hold on, it make 2 steps, it jump on his bum again, and he get up again, and then mommy is standing over there, and mommy is saying, come to me, and he, oh yeah, I can do this, and he started walking. You're not going to do everything in a flash.
No.
You have to fall down, and you have to get back up. So fall down, get back up. Just make sure you get back up. Don't fall down and stay down. Get back up, spring back up. It's like my name means spring green. So I spring back. An elastic band.
And you do it beautifully, Verna, in a very inspirational way.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to get in contact with you, because I suspect your message is going to resonate with quite a few people, where do they find you? How do they find you online? And let us have your...
I do have a website, which is called Lovey Health and Wellness. But if you go to Lovey Refresh, that is LAVIEREFRESH.co.uk, you can find me there. I have an email address, which is Lovey Health and Wellness @gmail.co.uk, and you can also find me on Facebook as well. I'm also on Instagram. So everywhere you can find me, on LinkedIn as well. So you can contact me. If you want to call me, you can call me on 078-28-181-254. I'm looking forward to speaking to you.
That's brilliant, Verna. I'm going to put all those details in the show notes for the podcast show. And I just want to finish off by saying thank you so much for coming and joining me today in this live on LinkedIn, as well as in the show. And I really, really wish you all the very best for the future. You've got an amazing, amazing message that these days is so very, very necessary. So you just keep doing what you're doing. And for people watching us live on LinkedIn, the webinar is at 11:30 on the 24th of March. It is called 3 Steps to Wholeness, Make Peace with the Past. And if you head over to Facebook groups and put in La Vie, Our Destiny, that's where you're going to find Verna. Verna, thank you so much once again. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being with you. I appreciate it.
Super. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.